I I told you the last video I did, that I was going to tell you about my deportation all the way from how I was deported from Warri, Delta State to Ado Ekiti. Originally, I'm from Ado Ekiti. My parents are from Ado Ekiti. I was born in Ado Ekiti, Nigeria. So my mother is not poor, neither is she rich, but she was homeless. My mother is homeless, but she sent us to a good school in Ado Ekiti. I attended St. John's Primary School, and later I moved to Asarudin Primary School. So while I was in Asarudin Primary School, I think I was in primary 1 or primary 2. My uncle came and they took me out of the classroom, and the teacher asked me if I know this fella, and I said yes, because it was my mother's sister. Sorry, my mother's brother. So I said yes, I know him. It's not somebody that I don't know. It's my uncle. I used to, even if I closed that day from school, I would just go to his house. That's where I would be till my mom comes to pick us up, me and my brother. So I was in uniform actually, and I didn't have the time to tell my mother goodbye. I was like, kind of, I won't say I was kidnapped, but at the same time it's like I was kidnapped because my mother was not present. So they put me in a car. There were 3 men in the car. One was driving, one was sitting in the front, one was at the back. I guess I was in the middle because they won't let me sit near the window. But I was not afraid because it was during the period when Nigeria was really good. So definitely my mother would sleep in our hut, in our store, and the doors are always open. Anybody comes in when they are traveling. In those days people travel on foot. It's not much car. So when people are traveling, they stop in my mother's house and they sleep overnight and they go. So it's not like it was scary. I was not scared to sit in the car with these people. I never know them from Adam. So I went with them, and we passed my mother's store that very day, and we didn't stop to say, Mama, or like, we've taken your daughter or something like that. There was nothing like that. But I was in the car, and I didn't even shake or move. I don't know the kind of spirit that is inside of me. When God is on your side, and sometimes you don't know how it works. So when some people today tell me that they don't believe in God, I don't know how to tell them. I just don't know that human beings can be so stupid to say that there's no God. I guess it's stupidity. So I went with this man, and we took a trip that trip never ended for me that day. And finally, when the trip ended, we ended in a city that was called Benin City, always in Nigeria. I was not dropped there, and we forwarded our trip, and we ended up in Warri. And that was how I found out that my uncle's daughter needed me to come to her and take care of her children, because she was becoming a mother. She already had one, and she already had the second one. But things were difficult for these women. When you are educated, you want your junior ones to come and stay with you if you cannot pay omodo. And omodo is a house help in those days. Every omodo that we have, every house helps that we have, they keep running away. They can't stay. They couldn't stay. But me, I stayed because I don't even know what is suffering. I don't know. All I was knowing was that there was television in this house and there was light. In my mother's house there was no light. We used lantern. So I was so happy that I've been to there's television in this house. So the last time I don't know when last I saw TV. So I've never seen TV before in my life. I saw the one they used to close when I was a baby. That was already always in my uncle's house. It was black and white, and they will close the door like this, and they don't let us to watch it unless they are there. So I don't have television. So I've never seen television. I can always say I've never seen. But this one that I'm seeing now is a colored one. It was one of the first colored ones in the 80s. I'm like, God. So anything that happens to me in that house, I don't talk, because like I said, when God is on your side, when God is, wants to shine his light upon you, he just does it in his own ways. So I was in that house, and After 12 years passed, I found myself back. I was deported back in uniform. It was my final year exams. It was my secondary school final year exams. So I was supposed to have my last papers, which is typewriting, accounting and typewriting, because I attended a commercial school in Warri. So I was going to do my accounting and typewriting that day, and I just heard my beautiful auntie who called me and said, look, take this money and go and give it to my dad in our town. I'll call it a village for you people so that you know, but this is a state. It's a state. So I told my aunt, I said, look, I'm in uniform. I have a class. I have papers in the afternoon. I have one around 10 in the morning. And I guess I have one around 1 in the afternoon. So there was no way I can go for a 4.5 or 5 hour trip and come back and do my papers. But she told me that, don't worry, the driver will take you down and the driver will bring you back to Warri so that you can finish your papers. So I was in confidence. You know, this naive girl, not knowing it's in God's grace. I didn't know it was God's grace. So naive, I jumped into this vehicle, telecom. It was written telecoms. I jumped into this vehicle. I was in my uniform, black top, white top, and a black skirt. Already, I'm always looking sexy. And I was driven back all the way from Warri with this money and these groceries to deliver to their child in a boarding school. I won't mention the boarding school. So I took the money and these groceries to deliver back in Ado. This was after 12 years. You can imagine everything wey don't happen, or all the house girls that have run away. I took that money back, and the driver already knew my mother, just past my mother's store. My mother is always in that place because she was homeless. She doesn't have a home. So that's where we stay. That was where we were staying, okay? And the driver just passed, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. You know, like, I didn't say anything. So if you have opinions, if you know what happened to me, you can always give me your comments, please. Don't hesitate to do that. I didn't say anything, but there was a spirit, you know, between a mother and a child. My mother saw that car pass her without stopping, and she was like, is that not so and so person's car? She was curious, so she took the next taxi and came down to her brother's house. And there she saw me weeping. And the driver told me that he was going to buy fuel. Then I knew I was home. I knew I was back to where they picked me from after 12 years. But I was weeping not because of the driver going back or for me coming home. I was weeping because I have 2 papers to do to finish my final year papers. And that's it. I was weeping because of my papers. And my mother came there and said, oh, I saw the driver pass my house and it didn't stop. So I was like, oh, what happened? And her brother called her to tell her things that I don't know what they have spoken about. Actually, for God's sake, I really don't know. And my mother just came back to me and said, Oje dake enue. Oje dake enue. Ode. O dupe lowo Ọlọ́run pé wọ́n ti fi ese show. O dupe pé wọ́n pa ẹ́. I didn't still understand my mother. And for that 12 years that I spent in that place before I was deported, all I see is my mother till date. Only my mom. Follow me for more. It's a long story.